Speaking of professors, and your daughter's obviously made a great connection with the gentleman that you mentioned, were there favorite professors that your daughter and your son have had that have touched them in ways beyond just the classroom? Yeah,
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes. John was in a managerial effectiveness class this past fall, and the professor had a project requirement in which the students were required to come up with their values in life and relate those values to their corporate leadership styles that they were studying in this course. And while this professor didn't, I don't think, wrote the book for the class, but just to give a different sense, I believe he had had a long-term career at a high level at Procter & Gamble and is now a professor here. I sat in the class for when this project was being assigned and also heard him speak. And he had an incredible wealth of experience that he was bringing to this class. What was amazing about this particular assignment is that it was the first time that John ever told his story, his journey. He's had a brittle bone condition. He wears bilateral hearing aids. He has a speech impairment. He was told he'd never walk. He now skis black diamonds and has ADD. And it was the first time he was required to tell his story. And because his values were formed by that journey. Mm-hmm. And the professor said at the time, as a plug I'm sure, but a number of students had come back and reported that this slideshow was very helpful in interviewing and that they had received some successful jobs offers. John, you mentioned the TEDx program. There was a student in the class who heard John's presentation, and one thing led to another, which is why he's now doing the TEDx program speech. But he also used it in his interviews at Blackstone, and it's transforming his life. Mm. It's allowing him. Duke has given him an education to speak, to write, to analyze, to critically think. And he's getting all of that as part of his liberal arts education. But what Duke has also empowered him to do is come to terms with his life's journey. And he's now seeing in a very real way how that journey is working for him.
Yeah.
And he is going to leave here a changed person.
That is absolutely a beautiful testament. And I think every one of us as parents mm-hmm. of a student here could speak to the way our children have been transformed mm-hmm. by individuals here, by the collective experience.
Right.
That's wonderful.